Hello, Jeff Helvin here with Ballen Brands, and today I want to talk to you about the ever so popular topic of AI. So what exactly is AI? Now AI traditionally, or how it's become to be known, was artificial intelligence. That's what it stands for, AI, artificial intelligence. And the idea behind that is machine learning, meaning that a machine or a program or something, the more that you interact with it, the more intelligent it gets to give you information back. So that is what AI is. So AI now is very loosely used, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But I want to first show you an example of AI and how it's most relevant today. So let's just say I go to google.com, and then instead of just typing in, let's say, Ballen Brands, which gives me, maybe a list of results, it has our business listing here and all of our website pages. But now people are using AI a little bit differently, and we're talking to our programs different. So now we might say, tell me about Ballen Brands. Okay, so you'll see here now it has AI overview. So Google, of course, has its own AI engine, and we can see that it basically gives us a recap of what Ballen Brands, tell me about Ballen Brands. So this isn't much unlike when we used to ask our parents when we were younger about something that we didn't know about, right? My dad used to tell me with such confidence that anything I asked, I swear he knew everything. There wasn't anything I ever asked him that he didn't have an answer for. Now, I did find out a little later in life that sometimes those answers weren't always accurate. And AI is also similar to that. It's not always 100% accurate. Now, I can tell you for the most part, it does a great job. I mean, if we look here, Ballen Brands, family-owned digital marketing company, specialized in creating WordPress websites with IDX integration. It lists out our key services, IDX integration, digital marketing, CRM solutions. It has some key features and benefits. I mean, what an awesome way. Again, if I were to ask somebody, tell me about Ballen Brands, and this is what they say, it's pretty on point. Now, this is actually grabbing information from the Ballen Brands website and maybe some other sources that are talking about Ballen Brands. So in this case, of course, we've got some pretty good results. So AI, in this case, artificial intelligence, Google is the artificial intelligent program that we're talking to. So tell me about Ballen Brands, and it gives us this AI overview instead of just sending me to a website where I need to go try to find all the information myself. So great use of AI, or great example of how AI works for us. Now, AI is also used in a lot of ways to talk about really, and I'm going to use a different term here for AI, automation indicators. So that's just something I'm kind of making up because when people ask about AI, I really think of how these tools are being used. Now, CRMs, for example, have a lot of automation that we can build into them. Websites have automation. If someone clicks here, pop this up, make it do that. And in CRMs, we can follow up certain ways. Now, we've been doing this for a decade, so it's nothing new. Automation indicators are things like, is it a buyer or a seller, or when are they looking to buy or sell, or something like that when we're talking about real estate. So automation indicators, again, is just a term I'm using here that really helps identify that, yes, it's automation. It feels like AI because we're saying if a buyer comes here and does this, then send them these things. But really, that's just programming, right? That's just something that we've been able to use for a long time, and we have been here at Ballen Brands. So, but with that being said, we're still going to run with that term AI. We're still going to understand that a lot of programs that we're using are using this term AI and get AI and have AI available, and that's fine. Let's focus more on what it does for us and not whether or not it's really artificial intelligence or if it's some sort of automation indicator that we're working with. So I want to give you a good example of really AI, the traditional term of AI, and how it's most useful for us in the real estate market. So again, we want to understand that AI is only as good as how we speak to it, okay? So for example, content creation is a great use of AI, using something like ChatGPT to help us generate content. If you look at my real estate website that I have here, I've got buyer resources where we talk about I have different things posted, the ultimate guide to home loan programs, your first home, a step-by-step guide. So these are things that we're able to use AI to help us generate content that otherwise would be very difficult for a lot of us to create. Sitting down and typing out and just giving our voice is often very difficult. But this helps us speed that up, and it's useful information. Now, as I mentioned, we want to be careful to not just take what it puts out and just say, yep, that's right, and just throw it out there. Okay, this is meant to be an assistant, something that helps us generate so that we still, so it kind of gives us that, hey, assistant, like if we hired an assistant, right? Hey, can you please write me an article, this and that? Well, if we just push that out there and we don't know if it's our voice or, if it's even accurate to our market, that could be somewhat dangerous. So we don't want to just push whatever out because we asked. Now, another thing is how we speak to it. AI is only as good as how we speak to it. So for example, if we were to say, how do I get more buyers? Okay, I know a lot of businesses I'm working with and business owners, and they're telling me, oh, I went to ChatGPT and I asked them how to do this, or I asked them how to do that, and it told me to do these things. Now, again, a lot of times it can be very relevant, and it could have awesome results and things that, actions that we can take. But we have to be careful that, again, it's speaking very authoritatively and it says do this and do that. But it may not know all the details that we need it to know. But AI that's spitting back these, these ideas doesn't know that. They don't know that we didn't tell them everything. Okay, so that's why it's important to understand how to use this. So it's only as good as the prompts. So for example, if I just said, how do I get more buyers? It's going to give me do this, do this, do this, call, make phone calls, send out postcards, do whatever, right? If I say, how do I get more real estate buyers? Well, now it might tell me some different strategies, because now it doesn't think I'm just talking about general buyers, okay? It's talking about just, consumers. We're talking about actual real estate buyers, potential real estate buyers. And in addition to that, let's say I actually am looking more for, maybe I don't work a lot with the investors and things like that. So if I just say real estate buyers, it might get me, potential investors and things like that. But maybe I'm going after more like, first time home buyers. So then of course I would want to put, how do I get more first time home buyers? You see, so the results that you're getting aren't necessarily a end all be all. Great, let's do it, go forward. It says to do these 5 things, so do these 5 things. Okay. Again, it's kind of like our parent that may have a lot of wisdom and they have some good ideas, but they may not always know exactly the full true answers. Okay, so that's just an example, but using AI for content is fantastic. Helping create listing descriptions in real estate is a great way to use it. We've all, as real estate agents, not all of us, but a lot of us really struggle with coming up with the right content to feature the right particular details of that property. So AI does a great job of helping us make these descriptions. Blogs and community pages, like I've shown you. So having blogs that are written, I've got buyer blogs, I've got seller blogs. If I go to my locations pages, I have content about the different cities and certain communities in Summerlin, for example, and why people like Summerlin and where it came from. What neighborhoods are in Summerlin. This is all things that AI is a fantastic way to help us generate. This is something we didn't have access to, just even a few years ago, to be able to really help us have content. So that's another great way. Now, AI is also awesome in, CRM, like for your customer relation management system. So sending out emails or text messages, but not the sending out part, but the actual messages that go in them. So having that available to us, because we don't always know what to say. Now, again, Ballen Brands has been doing this for a long time. So we already have, for instance, a CRM. We use Keep, and we've already put together buyer and seller campaigns. These are automated campaigns that do email and texting, sales pipelines, birthday campaigns, things like that. These are all things, again, this would be more like automation, right? Automation indicators would be, are they a buyer or a seller? Which campaign do they go on? Things like that. So using our tools and technology, we've been doing things like this already, but sometimes if you have another CRM that maybe we don't work in and you just don't know what to say, AI might be a great way to help craft some of that content. Okay, so that's our program, our CRM that we use and the campaigns that we developed already have the messages built in. It's what we already use. It's tried and true. It's what I use for my own real estate business. A lot of agents are using for their own real estate business. So it's not just AI telling us this is a good message people respond to. We're actually able to use real-time data. So again, it's more on the automation side, not on the AI side, but the result is very similar. And finally, social media posts. That's another big one where agents really struggle with coming up with social media content. So AI is another great way. Now, again, it won't always know specifically your exact target audience or who your list is. So you still have to be specific with it or know a little bit about what you're doing. But if you just know you want to start posting and you want to get things on there and you want to say, tell me things that are relevant to home buyers, and tell me things that are relevant to home sellers, and give me social media post ideas for these things, then it's a great way. And now it even integrates with things like Canva and other third parties to help create images and graphics. So AI there is very strong. There's a lot that can be done. And what's great about that, if you were to get invested in something like ChatGPT, it does learn. It does learn who. You don't have to keep telling it who your audience is necessarily. It learns a little bit more about you, who your audience is, and so it helps that whole system and makeup of what you're putting together. So fantastic way for marketing. AI is really strong with marketing in general, and being able to, again, create content and have the right kind of message that we're trying to put out to our audience. So flipping back over to the automation indicator side, and away from AI. So again, AI in its most useful way that I can see for us is really just creating content for all the different various platforms. Now, once you have that content, where does it go? Okay, that's the key here. So as I mentioned, I've got a website here. We build WordPress websites for real estate agents and other businesses, of course, too. And putting that content here on the website allows me to get the search engine traffic. It also allows me to get some domain authority, and my website, depending on its success, of course, might also be used in generating some of that AI content or those results when people do a Google search. So if someone were to type in how to buy a home in Las Vegas, and I have a strong presence there, and I'm writing great content for that, and it's valuable, well then it might source some of my content in those results. So getting in those AI results is very important. But I have other videos on that as well, and how that plays a role in your Google business page. But ultimately, having this here, having a place to put this content that you're creating is going to add that additional benefit. Now, also what I can do on the website is I have things like IDX. So I'm able to click on a property, and let's say I want to view more information or more photos on this property. Well, now it's asking me to register. So as a website visitor, it's going to ask me to register on the website, which now allows me to tag it as whoever registers on the site. I'm able to see now it's a buyer. Okay, in particular, if they're looking at more, we're going to assume that it's a buyer. Okay, in most cases, it would be a potential buyer. So I'm able to see through the IDX integration what kind of information they've been looking for, what pages they've been looking at, what properties that they've been looking at. And in doing so, it allows me to kick off the right kind of automation here in the CRM platform. Okay, so I don't want to lose you here, but just trying to show you how this all works together. Okay, so AI, generating content, then having lead capture components on the buyer side. This is an example of the buyer side. On the seller side, if I go to an instant home value, now I can see what my home is worth. So typically this would be more of a seller call to action. So when they register, I can mark them as a seller and then put them on the appropriate seller campaigns that we have also built out. Additionally, when you use something like listings to leads for that home value, they have their own follow-up emails as well. So you can send the follow-up email talking about their home value estimate and giving them an update. This is all part of this, again, automation, right? Not necessarily AI, but a lot of businesses want to call it AI because that's the word that's catching everybody's attention. But really it's automation. And with these automation indicators, like are they a buyer, are they a seller, we're able to be very specific with the campaigns that we're delivering to them. We want to touch them the way that they, with messages that they want to hear. So we're able to, really utilize these different tools in order to get the most out of our results. It used to be, again, just however many years ago, where we just have some static content. Someone fills out a contact form. We maybe put them in a CRM, but maybe we just put them on a spreadsheet, or they just go on our phone. And we really don't have the kind of follow-up or automation. So what AI and the technology and what's allowing us to do today is phenomenal. We're able now to, again, create valuable content to get to get the engagement, identify who they are, buyers or sellers, or what they might be interested in. Then send out automation based on who they are or what their interests are. And then finally from there, track. We're able to track now after they've registered, after they've come through, once they've become business, we can put all that information in, and we can even have analytics and things like that tied in as well. So AI is a fantastic thing for us. It's really done an amazing job helping us increase our business and be more specific to the business that we're going after, and ultimately get more out of the leads that we're generating. So we have a lot more on this. I have a blog linked in the article in the description below. Definitely read more about that. If you have any questions for Ballen Brands, how we work, our Ballen real estate websites, what we call our brew, and how it ties it all together with IDX Broker and Keep and listings to leads and creating the content. That's all things that we can help you with if you're struggling on that. But if you have any questions, by all means, you can reach out to us at team@ballenbrands.com.